Over to the next story, and this time it's positive news for the future of supersonic travel. Boom Supersonic has achieved a historic milestone in the development of its next-generation aircraft, successfully reaching supersonic speeds for the very first time. This breakthrough brings the company one step closer to revolutionizing commercial air travel. The company's XB-1 Demonstrator, which has undergone extensive testing over the past several years, has now been officially cleared to fly at supersonic speeds. The aircraft achieved this feat during a test flight in California, where a Boom test pilot guided the jet into a supersonic-approved air corridor at an altitude of 35,290 feet, before accelerating beyond the speed of sound. The XB-1 successfully reached Mach 1.122, equivalent to 750 miles per hour, officially breaking the sound barrier for the very first time. A moment that will go down as a significant milestone in the history of aviation. This momentous achievement stands apart from the traditional supersonic breakthroughs of the past, which have typically been the domain of government-backed military projects. Unlike aircraft such as the Concorde, the SR-71 Blackbird, or modern military jets, this is the first time an independently developed supersonic aircraft has managed to break the sound barrier. Boom. Supersonic's founder and CEO, Blake Scholl, reflected on the importance of this moment, stating, "The ability to operate a supersonic flight demonstrates that the technology for eventual adoption into a full-scale passenger airliner has arrived." He went on to emphasize how this milestone proves that a small but talented team of engineers can accomplish extraordinary things without requiring billions of dollars in government funding, a feat that has traditionally defined large-scale aerospace projects. Looking ahead, Boom Supersonic is using everything learned from the XB-1's development to scale up the technology for its next major project, the Overture supersonic airliner. The company hopes to bring the Overture into commercial service by 2029, 26 years after the Concorde was retired in 2003. But how does Overture compare to its legendary predecessor? Interestingly, the Overture is neither bigger nor faster than the Concorde. Instead, Boom is focusing on building a more efficient, cost-effective, and sustainable supersonic jet, one that can overcome the economic and operational limitations that ultimately led to the Concorde's retirement. While the Concorde cruised at 1,350 miles per hour, Mach 2.04, the Overture is designed to reach Mach 1.7, or 1,122 miles per hour. That means it won't be breaking the Concorde's record of flying from New York to London in just under 3 hours. However, it will still be twice as fast as modern commercial jets over water and around 20% faster than subsonic aircraft over land, though it won't be able to break the sound barrier in land-based operations due to noise regulations. The range of the Overture is expected to be slightly better than the Concorde's, increasing from 3,900 to 4,250 nautical miles. While that's only about a 10% improvement, Boom claims it will be enough to open up over 600 profitable routes worldwide. One suggested route from Los Angeles to Tahiti could be completed in just 4 hours and 10 minutes, instead of the current 7 hours and 45 minutes. Another key difference between the two aircraft is size. The Concorde carried 100 passengers, while the Overture will accommodate between 64 and 80, a significant reduction in capacity. Although the aircraft's length is almost identical, 202 feet for the Concorde versus 201 feet for the Overture will have a much smaller wingspan of 60 feet compared to the Concorde's 84 feet. Additionally, the max takeoff weight of the Overture is 170,000 pounds, which is less than half of the Concorde's 408,000 pounds. One of the biggest hurdles for supersonic air travel has always been the number of aircraft ordered. Only 20 Concordes were ever built, with just 14 entering commercial service between Air France and British Airways. Boom, however, claims it has already secured 130 orders and pre-orders from major airlines, including United Airlines, American Airlines, and Japan Airlines. That's nearly 10 times the number of commercial Concordes ever produced. Whether all of these orders translate into real deliveries remains to be seen. History has shown that early enthusiasm for supersonic jets can quickly fade, as seen in the 1960s when 100 Concorde orders were placed, but only 14 were fulfilled. Then there's the issue of cost. Supersonic travel has always come with a hefty price tag. A round-trip ticket on the Concorde between New York and London in 1996 cost around $7,574. Adjusted for inflation, that's over $15,000 today. Boom hopes to bring costs down, aiming for a round-trip fare of around $5,000 on the same route. Whether airlines will stick to this pricing remains uncertain, but the lower the ticket price, the more flights can be operated and the greater the likelihood of making supersonic travel commercially viable. Despite skepticism over whether Boom can truly make supersonic travel viable for the modern era, the company remains committed to its vision. The successful supersonic test flight of the XB-1 proves that independent aerospace firms can push the boundaries of technology. The aviation industry would love to see supersonic travel return, but the big question remains, is it feasible? Boom is working to solve the problems that doomed the Concorde, namely high costs, environmental concerns, and limited routes. But there are still plenty of obstacles ahead. The company needs to secure regulatory approvals, perfect its manufacturing process, and convince airlines that there's a sustainable market for supersonic air travel. The journey is far from over, but if Boom succeeds, we could see the return of supersonic passenger flights within the decade. Thanks for watching, and we will check for further updates from Boom.